Hello and welcome back to the Action Catalyst podcast. This is your host, Adam Outland, and we are doing Overtime with Outland. This is for episode 426 with Atif Rafiq. Atif is a successful businessman, and in this interview, he talks about his journey from being a Goldman Sachs analyst coming out of college to chief digital officer role at companies like Volvo and McDonald's, and his growth through the company AOL when the internet was still budding. In his experience, we learn a little bit from Atif about what makes successful decision-making happen. He wrote a book, Decision Sprint, The New Way to Innovate into the Unknown and Move from Strategy to Action. And in this, some of the concepts that he talks about in the episode is, number one, brainstorming with your leaders first. A lot of people try and force alignment on their leaders and start with alignment instead of starting with a more investigative and curious approach by just brainstorming, throwing things up against the wall, and realizing that not all of the decision-making needs to happen in one meeting. There needs to be direction. People need to know that there's going to be subsequent meetings and that they'll finally arrive at some conclusions and some action. But one meeting can just be dedicated to the brainstorming session itself to help begin the process of discovery and exploration that helps bring up unanswered questions and considerations that'll help get to the bottom of it. Then alignment can begin to come out of that process. So the second thing that I think Atif really speaks to is mentors. He does a great job throughout his career of adopting, and he talks about this in the interview, adopting some of the golden nuggets or the best parts of the leaders he's been surrounded by. So whether it was the CEO of Volvo and his approach, his kind of counterculture approach to working with people, to another executive who was just very effusive in his positivity, Atif was able to recognize the attributes in each person that had been successful in their own right and say, hey, I could use a little bit of that in my style and my approach. So it's adapting and adopting some of those qualities of the great leaders he's been surrounded by in each career that helped him become a better version of himself. So for those little nuggets and a lot more about his technical approach to helping teams and organizations arrive at better decisions, check out his episode number 426 with Atif Rafiq.